Hi there, I'm Lou Gallagher.
I'm Corvette Ronnie.
Pairing wine and weed? Is it a California dream?
Or a nightmare?
Next on Men Are So Smart. Proponents of the emerging pot for pleasure industry want to grab a share of the nearly $2 billion tourism business in Sonoma County with events like dinners that incorporate marijuana. In the Epicurean world, Northern California is famous for two intoxicants, wine and weed. With recreational marijuana about to be legal in the Golden State, some cannabis entrepreneurs are looking to the wine industry as a model.
On the elegant terrace of a winery overlooking the vineyard-covered hills of Sonoma County, north of San Francisco, I think we've all been there. Maybe you haven't.
I have.
A dozen invited guests are sipping Pinot Noir and nibbling hors d'oeuvres and taking hits off a water pipe.
Interesting.
Very interesting. They have come for a farm-to-table meal of kale salad, roasted vegetables, and grilled flat iron steak paired with wine and certain types of marijuana.
So here's what they found so far. Sativas go well with white wine, while indicas go well with reds, says Sam Edwards, president of the Sonoma Cannabis Company. He's part of the emerging pot for pleasure industry that seeks to grab a share of the nearly $2 billion tourism business in Sonoma Valley with events like this. What we're beginning is melding cannabis with wine and food in a curated meal that offers the best of all worlds.
Cannabis entrepreneurs are pairing food and marijuana to create dining experiences much like the ones found at Northern California wineries, where some of the best wine in the world comes out of, by the way. Cannabis entrepreneurs are pairing food and marijuana to create these dining experiences because now recreational marijuana is legal in 8 states and in the District of Columbia.
But the prize is California, where American cannabis has the deepest historical, cultural, and agronomic roots. California was the first state to legalize medical marijuana 21 years ago. In November, voters gave the green light to cannabis for recreational purposes. Northern California's legendary Emerald Triangle of Humboldt, Mendocino, and Trinity counties produce some of the world's most sought-after pot.
As it happens, just south of the triangle are the state's farmed wine-growing counties of Sonoma and Napa. I think that the wine industry is really going to want to be part of the cannabis industry because I feel like there's probably a secure future in that, says Dami Hikai, a 32-year-old special education teacher who attended the wine and weed dinner. While cannabis people are excited to co-market with wine people are taking a wait-and-see approach.
Interesting.
As they are known to do. Few of the wine trade associates contacted for the story wanted to comment on the coming of cannabis. One longtime Sonoma winemaker acknowledged a certain level of apprehension among his peers.
Aaron Gore markets cannabis-infused confections for women under the name Garden Society. She married into a family of grape growers, and this is her take on why those in Sonoma County may be apprehensive. Going down 101, all the vineyards going to get ripped out, and it's only going to be pot. How bad is it going to smell? A big thing is everyone's going to get robbed, and a lot of people are worried about marijuana-stoned driving, which we've talked about numerous times.
Yeah, in fact, Sonoma is already struggling to accommodate its 469 wineries.
Wow.
That's a lot. Though wine tourism is the lifeblood of the economy there, residents complain about the endless special events at wineries, congested roads, and the tipsy drivers. Adding cannabis to the mix might just heighten those concerns.
We have some challenges, some cumulative impacts from wineries and tasting rooms, says a district county supervisor. And now, from out of nowhere, it seems, comes cannabis. Oregon, where recreational pot has been legal for 2 years now, has had some cross-pollination between wine and cannabis, but the big experiment is here on the north coast of California.
Sonoma County expects so many applications for cannabis land use permits that it's hired 14 additional regulators.
Interesting.
Boy, I can see that coming. There are rules for groundwater management, mandatory use of renewable energy, setbacks from highways and schools, and requirements for elaborate security plans. Without a shadow of a doubt, cannabis is going to be the most difficult crop to grow in Sonoma County. The vineyards own all the good land, and no one knows if they'll want to expand into cannabis cultivation, as a handful have done in Oregon.
Yeah, again, like you said, it's the wait-and-see attitude. A gentleman who owns Maple Creek Winery in the hills of neighboring Mendocino County is bullish on the regulated commercial cannabis market. Rodriguez sits on 2 advisory boards, one for cannabis and one for wine. Both the best of both worlds.
Yeah, he's got his bases covered.
He says he grows pot for personal use, but has no plans to slap the Maple Creek label on the green buds.
Also thinks that wine and weed will make a good marriage. He says visitors to his tasting room are starting to ask where they can get some cannabis.
He says, my first passion is the wine. If the laws were different, I could grow cannabis because I have 164 acres here, but I would have to move my tasting room off the property because the law is, get this, you cannot be selling alcohol and growing cannabis on the same property. At a wine and weed dinner held in Northern California, the offerings on an hors d'oeuvre table include cannabis lemonade.
Kind of unusual. A preview is available at a recent Cannabis Business Summit and Expo down the highway in Oakland. Vendors were there hawking the latest in cannabis farm security, insurance, fertilizers, grow lights, potting soils, consumables, and so on. The COO of G Pharma Labs, company that infuses chocolates and lemonades, as well as sells marijuana bud.
In Sonoma County, the talk is all about the marriage of wine and cannabis, but at the trade show, Torres says alcohol is actually the competition. Instead of coming home and pouring myself a glass of Chardonnay, he says, I'd make a cannabis tea, 2.5 milligrams, and take that and try to take the edge off. The two industries will come together next month for the first time at the Wine and Weed Symposium in the city of Santa Rosa to explore cooperation and competition.
So what will North Coast tourists be looking for? A wine with notes of berry, leather, and a hint of Keats? Or a joint that delivers a calming body buzz with a cerebral creative boost? Or both?
You know, we are, as you alluded to earlier, we are very fortunate that we live very close to wine country.
Yeah.
A couple hour drive, maybe tops.
Yeah.
And
it's beautiful.
And when you have relatives that come in from out of state or whatever,
Yeah.
you got to take them to that.
Yeah.
But, and you know, I'm not a big wine consumer myself. On occasion, maybe with some seafood, I might like to have a glass of Chardonnay, but, you know, just one. As far as I'm concerned, it seems like the perfect blend. It really does. And when we're talking about it legally, what I'm saying is, if you could have a place where you could go and taste wines and sample weed, seems like a pretty good idea for a vacation to me.
Would you take your parents there, or your in-laws, or, you know, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
When you have people visiting from out of town, I don't know. And you know what? Unfortunately, I love the scenery, driving through Sonoma County and all that. I'm not sure I would love it as much if it were a bunch of pot plants on the side.
Well, for now, that ain't happening because
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to have the two combined.
Apparently not, which is, I think, okay.
Yeah, but
But you know what? I see in the future
Yep.
where the marijuana is going to the growth potential and the
revenue
is going to far outweigh that, and it's so much easier to produce. Wine is a long process.
Yeah, it is.
And people are going to go, why would I go through all this trouble when I can just grow a weed and sell it and make a lot more money?
Yeah.
I'm afraid that we may be losing a part of what makes Sonoma County and all those special.
And the reason, if you weren't sure you heard it in this, that is the best soil that you can possibly find.
Oh, it's amazing soil.
So, and the soil required for growing grapes, very similar to that for growing weed. So it will, at some point, come to push or shove.
Yeah.
You know? All right. Thanks for watching today. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a good day. This has been Men Are So Smart. All of our information is down here below in the description. And you can find some links to our Facebook and to our Twitter and to Instagram and so on and so forth. Also, our email addresses. And we'd really like to have people subscribe to the show.
Please do.
We watch the analytics all the time on the program. We see who's watching what episode and how many hits it gets and so on and so forth. So we try to do shows that are geared towards what you like to see. And the more comments that we get, the more shows we can do that appeal to you and your friends, which is what we're hoping you'll do, and that is share the program.
Yep.
I'm Lou Gallagher.
I am too. Wait, no, I'm Corvette Ronnie. Sorry.
Wait a minute.
Hold on. Let's check the script here. No, I am. I'm Corvette Ronnie.
I'm Lou Gallagher. This has been Man So Smart. Maybe we had too much weed in wine. Or maybe we should do a taste test. Ooh. Yeah. See you.